Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe Theodore, and thank you for joining me today. So let's get right into this video. I've already made one entire video on the full moon in Sagittarius. I discussed my thoughts in depth there, but I did say this would be a part 2 where I do an all signs kind of intuitive forecast for you guys. Now, what can I say? The full moon in Scorpio, this is quite the transit since the new moon in Taurus. And just to preface a little bit and to say a little bit before I get right into doing the all signs for you guys, I feel this is a moment where we really are dealing with the culmination of the seeds we wanted to plant in the ground and some of the intentions we wanted to put into focus for, this lunation cycle to come now to the full moon. In no better sign than Sagittarius, the seeker, the adventurer, the one who seeks knowledge and wishes to embark on adventure, the one who is not afraid to do new things, similar to Aries, except a little bit more, or actually a lot more mature and wise and eager to expand philosophically. And in so many other beautiful ways, Jupiter is ruled by Sagittarius. Or Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, rather, which means this is also very, very significant considering that Jupiter is at the anaretic degree at this full moon with Venus. So there's a lot going on with the Jupiter story, with this full moon especially. And just on the precipice of a massive Gemini party, where Gemini will be activating so many of our lives from this point forward. We're going to see more air than we have in a very long time. So this is a very important full moon, guys. It's very important. It's important that you know what's happening in the Sagittarius part of your life. It's important that you focus on some of the things we've learned in the last couple of months, which, like I've said before, the Aries story is all about identity. The eclipse was all about identity. And I feel this is something we all need to focus on. And on a collective stage, I feel like the fight for identity, the understanding of identity, what are we meant to be doing now? Do we need to come together, to change things on the collective stage? Do we have to come together to change something in our life? Or do we have to find things to go alone, at the moment? So, there's a lot to consider with the current astrology. And honestly, the next 5+ years are going to be massive, life-changing, individually speaking and collectively speaking. There's going to be a whole new world that we're about to enter into. Excuse me, because the outer planets are making such big shifts into new signs. Every outer planet is making a massive shift. Neptune into Aries next year. Uranus into Gemini in a little more than a year. And Pluto will be in Aquarius full time, for very long. 15 to 20 years, I think, round about that long. So this full moon is extremely important for expansion, for growth, for growing things in our life that we're going to need the Gemini energy for, considering Gemini is so symbolic for what's to come right now. And of course, the seeds that were, hopefully planted or hopefully recognized at least. Because again, seeds can just be the reckoning of something psychological and understanding. But a lot of us, I think, with Aries and Mars and Mercury direct now in Taurus, I feel like a lot of us, we're like now putting in the work and the effort physically. Because Aries and Taurus are very physical. But this also has a lot to do with the mind and the psychological and the spiritual. I feel like a lot of spiritual things are occurring right now too. Synchronicities will definitely be ramping up with Gemini, I feel, especially with Jupiter entering there. So I think we're going to be a lot of signs and omens we have to look out for. But this full moon is a moment for almost like the beginning of this new chapter into Gemini, and I really feel like that's a big part of the story as well. And mainly because Jupiter's ingress is making it that way. So please watch my other video if you haven't already. And, but this video is very specific to just some intuitive insights for each sign on what I'm feeling might be a focus for you. And if you would like any more focus, generally speaking, with your life and your purpose and just what's going on, in regards to your personal experience, please consider booking a reading with me. I have all the information down below. And, if you feel like connecting one-on-one, my books are open and I have slots, available. And, consider doing that. And also, please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting if you enjoy my content and if you enjoy this video especially. All right, guys, so let's get right into this full moon in Sagittarius, and we're going to start with Aries. All right, Aries, this will be happening in your 9th house. And we're doing rising signs, by the way. So Aries, this will be happening in the house of Sagittarius. So this is a very, very important full moon for you, because I do feel that you, being an Aries rising, and everything that's been going on in your literal house of identity, this to me is a beautiful full moon for furthering expansion in your pursuits. I feel in what you believe in, like, period, full stop. So I feel, I feel like Aries risings, because of what's been going on with the eclipse stuff and, Aries season period, I feel like you guys might have been, I don't want to say struggling, but I feel like your battle for identity and self, understanding has been probably more than anyone else's. And for this full moon to fall into your 9th house, a further expansion, maybe this is a time where you're going to think about traveling, foreign travel. And if not foreign travel, I think, you guys might be the ones having like the massive spiritual awakenings, the ones who are really trying to maybe understand the deeper parts of yourself. So for me, this is definitely either a revelatory moment where you're going to be, sorry guys, my nose is itching me like crazy. This could be a moment for things to be revealed to you in a very deep way, and you're longing for understanding yourself on a deeper level. I think is, very, very much a prime focus, or should be. Maybe this is the astrology's way of saying to you, hey, now it's time to go deeper, because this will help your pursuits and identity and self. All right, Taurus risings. This will be happening in your 8th house of psychology, because that's really how I define the 8th house, the house of psychology, the house of transformation, of the house of shamanic, depth. So for you guys, I feel having Sagittarius there is pretty awesome, to be honest, because I feel you guys are super into, diving deep into the deep waters of essentially a Scorpio house. So I feel like for you guys, this will also, just like what I said with Aries, this is kind of almost like a subtle continuation of exploring depth into the psyche, or having the psyche be sort of maybe a front and center issue for you, but also just a focus for further expansion and understanding there. So I feel like for you, growth and expansion in that particular area of your life is significant, and I think that should be a major focus for you. And as a Taurus rising, I know you guys like your stability, but each and every one of us have an 8th house placement, an 8th house, generally speaking. And I feel when it comes to the 8th house, things just magically and divinely kind of, bring us to darker places that are very transformative. And for you guys to have Sagittarius there, I think you guys actually do have a pretty sound psychology. I think being an 8th house ruled by Jupiter is, it's very, I feel like that's a good omen to have involving a psychological house. And I feel you actually might have a lot of intuitive insight right now. I feel like Jupiter being a very spiritual planet and the 8th house being a very like deeply psychological yet spiritual place. This, I feel for you you will be able to come into more fluid understanding of maybe how you at your deepest level operates. And you might be getting revelations, you might be getting insight in this particular area of your life that can be very useful for your movements forward. Now, Gemini risings, this will happen in your 7th house of partnerships, one-on-one, relationships of any kind. So really your close, intimate relationships with people in the most mature of ways. So not your family, not your siblings, not your cousins, not your, local schmokel friends, but more on like more deep one-on-one connections, So for you guys being Gemini risings, I feel like communication is just going to come back online in a big way, especially with everything, Gemini season beginning and how packed Gemini will become and how Jupiter will be there for over a year. So I think for you, having this full moon happening in your partnerships, the opposite end of your ascendant, this is, I think, a really good omen for flourishing connections, for flourishing expansion in your relationships with others. So for me, I feel there's going to be a lot to learn within your one-on-one relationships. I think you're going to have a lot of luck there. I also think it's possible for you to become attracted to foreign people or foreign culture involving people. Some of you may meet someone that is of another culture, and it might actually light you up in some way, So again, the Sagittarius and the 7th house are not all just one size fits all, but I feel when we're dealing with the house of adventure, expansion, optimism and, activity and, travel and just wisdom and spirituality, this is just huge for making deeper connections. And that's really a theme of Sagittarius full moons, is to form more of a deeper relationship with the world, yourself, and in this case, with other people. Cancer risings, this will happen in your 6th house of health, work, routines, and a lot of other fun stuff. And regarding holistic living, in my opinion, I think the 6th house needs to be a house of holistic living, because if you're not holistic in your approach to the 6th house, then balance of your life just becomes unbalanced. It's very easy to become unbalanced with 6th house placements, but this full moon, I think, is bringing optimism and luck there. I think it's bringing good vibes. I think it's going to bring you insight and transformation in that area of your life. Maybe if you were dealing with some ailments, this full moon actually can provide healing there. And I think you'll gain deeper insights in a positive way, regarding your house of health and work routines. So this also can be a sign for you to get more active. So maybe there's going to be opportunities where you can be a little more active, which can benefit your work-life balance, which can benefit your health. And, I think that should be an anchor point for you. So I really like that, guys. I hope that makes sense for you. Leo risings, this will happen in your 5th house. So yeah, your 5th house actually is also that ruled by Leo. So Leo risings, having this full moon in Sagittarius fall in a house of Leo, all fire. So right again, like think about this symbolically, you're dealing with so much heat and fire. Oh my God. So I feel like for Leo risings, you guys have the most potential to, I feel be the most active and, I don't want to say adventure seeking, but yeah, I feel like this full moon is going to really trigger a lot of activity for you to expand yourself in pleasurable and fun ways. I also think that if you have children or if you're planning on having children, this can be an amazing time for fertility. And I know a lot of astrologers should be weary of saying that, but if you're trying and that's where your life's at, this full moon could be, wow, you can really, I feel like the amount of fire that's happening with you is a prime breeding ground, no pun intended, for bringing life into the world. So I feel like fertility could be at a high, if that's kind of like where your story's at. But generally speaking, I think this full moon is going to provide just a lot of deep spiritual and just expansion in that particular area of your life. I feel you're going to feel deeply connected to play, to pleasure, maybe even dating if that's what you're doing now or trying to do. So I feel like a lot of the trigger points for you, Leo risings, are just illuminating, just good vibes and positive flow in the realm of, I think, seeking out more things in life that bring you joy. So I think your big lesson is, get as joyful as you can, find as much opportunity as you can to do things for yourself that can bring you pleasure. And I know that might be hard for some of us to hear, especially if you're, maybe a little down and out, but it is important to find that in life, no matter what it is, even the smallest thing to provide you some pleasure, even if it's like treat yourself to some comfort food, on this full moon. And, and I would say try to like look deep into things that could be spiritual in nature, and really like coming to the play and pleasure in whatever you decide to do or whatever's being activated there. Try to come to that with, a deeper understanding of self and a deeper understanding of, maybe the interconnectedness that we all share, because that's a really deep philosophical and Jupiterian way to look at life, is to really understand the deepest teaching of Jupiter is honestly just how much we can learn from each other. And the ultimate learning of each other is understanding our connection and oneness together. So incorporate that into your play, into your pleasure, into your lovemaking and dating life, if that's really the route you're taking. But yeah, guys, I hope that makes sense to you. Virgo risings, this will happen in your 4th house of foundations, roots, home, ancestry, self-worth, inner worth, the place within yourself, maybe you don't share with others. So I feel like for you guys, this is actually really, really an important full moon, because Virgo risings, you guys, you can be very particular. There's a very like structured, analytical way that you operate in this world. And for this Sagittarius full moon to shine right at the roots of your entire life, this is, I think this is an important moment to really embrace the fire and the depth of things that could be potentially unknown. Even though I would say Pisces 4th house would be like really explore the depths of your being, and like, when it comes to your home life, like really try to find a flow of peace. But for you guys, I feel like expanding your sense of adventure and philosophical depth will be beneficial to your roots, to maybe looking back in time at where you've come from. And I think on an inner level, this can also be just how can you expand yourself, maybe that takes you away from your superly narrowly focused analytical, sense of self, the 1st house, Virgo rising identity. So the Sagittarius full moon happening in your 4th, I think is a great place for this to be. Might be a little uncomfortable for you because I feel like a lot of Earth Virgo placements sometimes they have a difficult time with fire, but this, I think, can bring some illumination and some optimism as well to that part of your life, So I hope that helps. Libra risings, this will happen in your 3rd house. So the 3rd house is your house of, communications on a daily level. So your immediate communications with others, how you meet other people like on a daily basis. This is just sort of like local back and forths, even like, close friends and family in a way, like siblings and brothers, just things that are going on around you on a daily basis. And the way you communicate, in most often. So this Sagittarius full moon, I think is going to bring depth to that. I think you're going to learn a lot about the people around you. And I think the way you communicate and what you might learn with your communications and with your interactions with others on a more superficial level will be a little bit more deeper, and maybe I think you might even come in contact with some people that aren't from your culture, and it may be interesting for you to want to learn more about that. Like I feel like that might come out of left field, where all of a sudden there could be just a couple of people you meet, or maybe you'll find yourself in a local restaurant where it's just completely ethnic And there's just something going on in that particular, realm. Like I wouldn't be surprised if on the full moon day, you just sort of find yourself in a place where there's a lot of foreign people or foreign things. But if not that, let's get a little more philosophical and spiritual. There could just be some revelations and things that come to you that are just deeper in nature, in your daily activities, in your daily communications, maybe someone very close to you, will influence you in some way, shape, or form on a spiritual or mental level that really tries to teach you about something, or tries to expand you in some way. Or maybe you're getting to the point where it's your turn to expand something going on in your immediate world. You could be providing something at this time or ready to begin providing something at this time that could be deeply spiritual in nature and active, so something expansive and active, whether that's philosophically, spiritually, mentally, or physically, So I hope all of that makes sense. Now, Scorpio rising, this will happen in your second house, which is your house of finances, of things that you have. This is happening in the house of self-worth, meaning like how you really value yourself, like maybe the question of what is my self-worth? Like, do I have self-worth? Do I need to accumulate more self-worth in myself and confidence? But, in relation to things that are in your immediate material world, So this can provide abundance in finances and in material goods, or this can provide you with the insight that should be a focus, right now in your life, and that you should focus on this moving forward, that you should really pay attention to material things going on around you and how you can root yourself and identify with that to make maybe your life more grounded and more abundant. So in the positive sense, I think Jupiter being ruled there and that being a Sagittarius house, this can really shine like maybe a more optimistic and confident way that you can approach your material goods, wealth or lack of wealth, or the way you view yourself in the world. So I feel like you can take this opportunity to work with Jupiter and the Jupiter energy to, kind of embody more, ready for the world. I'm ready to take on the world. I'm ready to expand myself and to be fearless, there. And maybe a little bit more of a shadow sense. This can illuminate maybe some lack in that area and that you need to have more faith and trust and belief in yourself so you can accumulate more things in life that you maybe feel like you're lacking. So this is a really good time to really just sort of go, like pick yourself up, believe in yourself, that kind of thing. Sagittarius risings. Hello, this will happen in your first house. So to be honest, I don't know if you guys just clicked on the timestamp or watched what I just said on Scorpio risings, but I'm going to follow in the same track because I do feel this is a major transit, a major lunation period for your identity, and especially after what was going on in Aries, which was a fight and an understanding for our identification and that particular part of your life, that sense of identity and whatever house topic Aries is for you. With this full moon happening in your first house of self-identity, the way the world views you and the way that you even view yourself, right? This is a very important revelation period, a moment of expansion, a moment of having faith and trust in yourself that things are working in the highest good for you to be more, I don't know, I'm just getting the word expansive again, like more expansive in the way you view yourself, to have faith and trust in yourself. And that was kind of what I was saying with the Scorpio risings, to really have a moment where you can start to expand the way you view yourself so you can have more confidence and more faith in yourself and trust in what you're doing or what you want to do and how you want to come to the world. So I think that's really important for you guys. Also, I think some of you may be attracted to people from other cultures, or you may be identifying with things that are from something that's very different from you. And you might be identifying with maybe spiritual things or things that can be very transformative, that can expand you in a very spiritual and philosophical way. So this is also very much a part of your story, I would say. and you should focus on maybe some of those things as well. And to end that, because Sagittarius is a very active sign, a sign of like, let's go out there, let's go do things, let's go adventure and try stuff. This can also be for you to, really expand and move forward in a more active way. So maybe get up off the couch and stop being a couch potato, because Jupiter ruled signs can actually be very lazy too, So it's actually kind of strange to think about. That's the shadow side. But, if that's for any reason what you've been doing, this is like a fire under your ass to get things going, Capricorn risings, this will happen in your 12th house. So yeah, guys, for such a focused and serious and hardworking rising sign, this Sagittarius full moon, I think, is going to bring you some, I don't know, I feel like you guys are going to have a major shamanic transformation moment here. And I think you've already been feeling that. I think you already maybe know this about yourself, but Sagittarius hasn't really been that active at all, throughout all this wild astrology that we've been having, with Aries and Taurus and Pisces with Neptune and Saturn and, and now Mars doing a lot of shit in Aries. And, I think you understand, I've been talking so much about all that, but this full moon in your 12th house, I think, is really going to provide some shamanic revelation for you. I think there's going to be a transformative something there. Something very deep is happening, maybe in a sense where you've always felt isolated. Maybe you've always been philosophically and spiritually interested in the depths of the spiritual nature of things, or maybe you've always sort of just been attracted and sort of drawn, or maybe fate has always provided you some very deep Piscean themes, where that could be kind of dark and gloomy but also very profound. So I think this full moon coming there, just like every full moon cycle this time of the year, I think there's just something that could be very explosive, in regarding that Piscean energy. That's what that 12th house rules. So, yeah, guys, I feel like this would be a great opportunity to dive deep, into maybe some deeper layers of the spiritual realm of things, or dive deeper into the nature of what you may be feeling isolated in your life. And this also, I think, can be providing some very much needed medicine if there's anything darker or gloomier, or, just that Piscean confusion, but also that beautifully creative energy that the 12th house can also bring. This can also be a very beautiful moment for expanding that, and learning a lot from that. Aquarius risings, this will happen in your 11th house of, groups and, larger than life connections, so a lot of bigger, worldly, more collective ideals, the way we communicate with others on a more serious tone, a more professional tone. So, maybe in a professional sense, I'm kind of getting like, things that you take very seriously in your life, things that you feel very called to expand and very called to place belief upon. This could be a beautiful moment for really getting the clarity and having the moment to even see and participate in growth in that particular area of your life. So honestly, Aquarius risings happening in a house of Aquarius, this is really, really massive for you guys. There's a lot of Aquarian energy that is merging with the Sagittarian energy, which again, I feel is really about expansiveness and, diving deeper into things that you believe in and that you need to trust in. So when it comes to the way you connect with others on a more, grand way, or the way you just view the world, the way you view things from a more bird's eye view, I think this is going to give you, that sense of just psychological and spiritual and psycho-spiritual, just deeper understandings of what's going on in that part of your life. And I also think this is a good moment that potentially, if you're a part of anything, or if you're trying to initiate things there, this, I think, you probably are already feeling, but this is a good omen and a good moment to really kind of get even more serious about some of that stuff. And I think the insights that come to you there will be very beneficial for you in the long run. And I also think this could be auspicious for luck there too. So I think there could be a lot of luck and things that sort of just line up, in that particular area, dealing with other people. This could also be social stuff. This doesn't have to be collective, but this can also just be like the way you organize stuff in the community, or how you're showing up in the community, So I think you'll be very vibrant, this particular transit, in this profound, beautiful full moon. So, and then lastly, Pisces risings, this will happen in your 10th house. So I can already sense for you guys that, this could be a beautiful moment for, again, the way the world is really viewing you in your work life. I think, the 10th house is really a house of career. It's a house of how people see you and what you're doing with your life, the things that you're focused on that the world might know you for. So for this transit to come, I feel there could be a lot of luck actually, and good things that occur, optimistic things that might happen in your house of career, or your house of whatever you feel you're meant to be doing in this world on a purpose level. So I think there's a lot going on when Sagittarius is there for you. And I'm not sure if you have personal planets there, but whenever the moon is shining there, and we have this transit every single year this time, I feel like you're already kind of in tune with what that might bring for you. But with all the other stuff going on in the astrology, I feel there could have been something you planted that now may come to fruition in some way regarding your career or your persona, your public persona, the way the public sees you as an individual, not you a part of a group, but you as an individual. And I think the Sagittarius full moon for you guys, and I feel like for you guys, you probably have a good, whenever this time of the year comes around, I feel like you guys always have like a good burst of energy and a good moment of just like, oh my God, like you kind of have like sort of like an eye-opening, mind-opening, and heart-opening revelation in some area of that part of your life. So for you guys, I think something really, really positive and beautiful will occur, even if it's on a deep level, even if it's just on an inner level. And that's really amazing, I think. Also, this could be a moment and an opportunity where something going on in your public life could influence how you perceive or how you interact with things that could be of foreign substance for you. So things may come to you at work, or the way you are looking for purpose in life, and how something that can enhance maybe your public figure, that could be something foreign, or maybe some foreign influences will affect you in this time. So, or you may have to travel for work, it could be that, or you're going to plan for some traveling for work, or you might want to go work somewhere else for a while, or you may incorporate something that is foreign into your work, if we're going to stick to the work thing. But yeah, guys, the 10th house has so many different meanings. Typically it's career, it's fame, it's public persona, it's how you take action in the world and people notice it. So Sagittarius can be very expansive there. And personally, I feel like every year during your Sagittarius full moon cycle, this, I feel like this is kind of when a big gust of wind hits you every year, in some way. So, yeah, guys, that's all I have for this video for you. I do hope that you enjoyed this all signs rundown. I really just do this in a very fluid way. I try to just channel my thoughts as best as I can. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. So if you stay to the end, please consider subscribing, liking, and commenting on this video. And I will see all of you lovely souls next time.